Medicare and Social Security. The Fed chairman warning yesterday there are really only two ways to deal with the staggering national deficit, and Americans will either have to pay one way or the other.
Unless we as a nation demonstrate a strong commitment to fiscal responsibility, in the longer run we will have neither financial stability nor economic growth.
Let's talk about it with Taylor Griffin, former economic advisor to John McCain's campaign, and Michael Linden, Associate Director for Tax and Budget Policy at the Center for American Progress. Michael, do you dispute anything that the Fed chairman had to say?
Nope. We do have a long-term budget problem that we are going to have to get a hold of over the coming years, and the President Obama, I think, has taken some good first steps to doing that. And I think it's important to distinguish, as the chairman did, between the short-term deficit, the one we're having this year, and the long-term deficit. They're two different problems. In fact, the first one's not a problem at all. The second one is a big one.
Mike, all right, let me stick with you for just a second there. You say
Sure.
President Obama has taken some good first steps. Does that include the health care bill?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The health care bill, which reduces the deficit of $130 billion in the first 10 years, but more importantly, up to $1 trillion in the second 10 years. And hopefully it'll help start bringing some of those health care costs, which are a major driver of the long-term deficits, more into a sort of a more sustainable level.
Taylor, I remember my economics class in college. One of the first things we learned is that human wants are unlimited. And it seems like with programs like Social Security and Medicare, we all want to feed off the public trough, but nobody wants to pay for it.
Oh, that's exactly right. You know, this is a huge problem, and the Fed chairman talked about arithmetic, and the fact that the arithmetic doesn't work here. Let me give you a reason why. We're taxing about 18.5% of the economy right now. And
no, we're not.
We are, and then we're spending 25% of the economy. Now, your family budget, tell me, does that work or doesn't it work? Michael's exactly right that the budgets are unusually large this year. The budget deficit is. But it's not much different going into the future. We have Social Security and Medicare catching up with us. And the savings from health care, once you figure in this doc fix that they'll be doing, there really isn't much there. And I don't see how you get it through raising taxes or anything else. We have got to address cutting government spending,
Michael,
bottom line.
We were talking with Stuart Varney last hour about the fact that at least one tax policy research center in D.C. says 47% of Americans pay no federal income tax. I mean, how can you have a balanced economy when you've got a situation like that?
Well, the reason that 47% of Americans pay no income tax is because 47% of Americans are actually not doing so well right now. And I think that's the point that's not being made in that statistic. I mean, we're talking about people who've really lost a lot in this recession, and they've been hit the hardest. And these are people who have really been left behind by President Bush's economic and tax policies. So that doesn't worry me. What worries me more is that the top 400 richest people in this country have paid a lower amount of taxes, a lower tax rate over the past 6 years than ever before, and that is a real problem, and that is one of the things we're going to have to address going forward to help this big budget deficit.
All right, so Taylor, final thought: is there the wherewithal, is there the will within Congress to actually address some of these problems that the Fed chairman is talking about?
Doubtful. This is hard to do. And what Michael talked about the wealthy and how much taxes they're paying or not paying, the fact is the wealthy are paying a bigger share of taxes than they ever have before. And you're pretty much at the level where economists say if you tax people more, they're just going to find ways to shelter this through municipal bonds and that kind of thing. You're not going to get any more money out of them. What Paul Volcker said yesterday is that we've got to go after the middle class. Obama's economic advisor. And he's right. If you're going to do this through taxes, the only place where there's money left to tax is the middle class. We've got to address spending.
Taylor Griffin, Michael Linden, thank you both.
Do you know what you're eating? Turns out the Food and Drug Administration may not. There is a troubling new report just out today about what is not being checked in our food supply. And Tiger Woods is about to tee off at the Masters just a little over an hour from now as Nike launches a very different type of TV ad with the voice of his deceased father. Take a listen.
I want to find out what your thinking was. I want to find out what your feelings are.
What do you think of it? Eerie, effective, or both?
And
Here's what some of you are saying from our blog. Denny says he thinks the ad is a cheap shot.